Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Raddad Cooks here. This is it. This is the video where we put together everything we've learned in this pizza series to make a pizza pie like this. One where the cheese doesn't slide off and the bottom is brown, beautiful, and crispy. Let's get started. First, we want to preheat that oven all the way up to the max. If you haven't got a chance yet, head on over to my brother channel and check out my awesome hack on creating a pizza oven in your home range. Well, we got our balls that we previously made. We're gonna get them out of the fridge and let them sit for about 45 minutes to an hour. Let them puff up a little bit and reach room temperature. Then we're gonna give them a real generous dusting in some fine semolina. You see that smooth part right there that was the top? Well, hey, check it out, now it's the bottom. The rough side is now the top. The rough side's gonna grab onto our ingredients a little better, and the smooth side's gonna make it easier for us to work on the countertop. We're gonna start off by not popping, but pushing all that air out to the edge, and that's gonna create our crust. Real gentle here, you don't wanna pop those bubbles. It's gonna make our crust nice and airy. Now we're gonna start stretching it, all right? We're gonna stretch and rotate 90 degrees. Stretch, rotate 90 degrees. We're gonna do this until we get it about 8 inches in diameter. We'll pick it up and start working it. All right, now this next phase, we're gonna be using our knuckles, evenly distribute the weight and rotate it around while gravity pulls on our pizza dough. Nice and gentle. Just like this. Let gravity do the work. And once the center starts to get kind of thin like that means the center is good. Now we just got to work out that extra dough on the rim. So we're going to switch it up. And we're going to grab it with our thumb on one side and our 4 fingers on the other and continue to shake it and let gravity do the work. We'll have a beautiful looking shell just like that. Let's check it out again. So using our fist, we're going to rest the dough on our knuckles as we spin it around, just like this. Then, once the center of the dough starts to get thin, we're going to switch up techniques. We're going to pinch it with our thumb on one side and our 4 fingers on the other, and just keep rotating the dough so that way we can stretch out the area closer to the crust. We want to make sure we don't pop any of the bubbles in that crust here though. That way we get a nice airy crust on the inside that's crispy on the outside. All right, now it's time to get this thing up on a pizza grill. Now, I like using pizza grills instead of a peel because frankly, it's a lot less skill involved. Also, you got less chance of destroying your pizza before you get a chance of putting it in the oven and burning it. You can start making the next pizza too while the first one's in the oven without having to take it off your peel to pull the first one out. And you can move them around before they're cooked to make room in your kitchen. Lastly, I like the grills because you can toss all your doughs and then pass them over on the grills of the kids so they can decorate them up. So you can see our ball was 250 grams and we stretched out a nice 12-inch pie. It doesn't have to be perfectly circular. Now we're gonna start putting on the sauce. A brush is the easiest way to get our sauce distributed nice and evenly on this pie. This is key because we're not gonna use a lot of sauce. You don't wanna oversauce your pizza or all your toppings will slide off. We're using about 161 grams or 5.5 ounces of Raddad Cooks homemade pizza sauce on this pie. Get it close to the edge, but you want to leave a little bit there so that way you got a little crust or a pizza bone tossed down to the dog later. All right, so next we're gonna put on our Romano cheese. If you remember from the cheese video, we put a little bit of a very potent flavored cheese on here so that way we can get that awesome cheese flavor without having to put too much cheese. You over cheese the pie, the cheese either isn't gonna melt all the way before the crust is done, or it's just gonna slide off and onto the floor, and that's not cool. Now we're gonna put our cheese on there. You wanna use a whole milk, low moisture mozzarella cheese. That's gonna give you the proper melt, most flavor. We're using 128 grams or 4.5 ounces on this pie. That whole milk mozzarella plus our Romano is just gonna give it an awesome, awesome cheese flavor without being so much to where you can't get a nice clean bite out of it. The whole video on cheese too, if you haven't got a chance to check that out. All right, let's slide this bad boy in the oven. 6 to 10 minutes in your oven. Even though mine says it maxes out at 525, it only gets to about 490. You want to utilize your window. If you got a light in a window, utilize that to monitor your pizza. Don't open up the door, or you're gonna lose all your heat. It takes about 10 minutes in my oven. All right, and here we go. We got a nice crispy brown crust. And then also our cheese is completely melted and bubbly, but it's not all watery and greasy. I like to serve my pizza and store it inside pizza boxes. You can buy these online or pick them up at a restaurant supply store. They're the best. They keep it warm and they will absorb any extra grease that your pizza might have on it. Also, the box is a great platform to cut your pizza on without having to slide it onto a cutting board. Now before I cut my pie up, I like to give it a nice little treatment. A little bit of Italian seasoning, a little salt, a little pepper, that does the trick. Now for cutting it, use a large chef knife. Don't use one of those little wheelie-dealy pizza cutters. They're just gonna slide through there and rip off all your cheese. Also, to keep your cheese intact, give it a good minute or so for that cheese to set up before you go slicing into it. For a 12-inch pie, I like to slice it into 6 slices. Not 8, that way they're kind of decent size and they're not so small to where the toppings are falling off the sides. There we go. Beautiful, well executed pizza in your home oven. All right, so let's pick a piece up and check it out. Now this is what we're going for. We want a piece of pizza where we can pick it up and the cheese doesn't slide off. That means we got the right amount of cheese, right amount of sauce. Nice brown bottom. It's cooked perfectly on the top and the bottom at the same time. That's what that oven hack does, so please make sure you check out that video. All right, let's review everything we learned. When you're tossing the dough, don't get all showy, man. Just let the gravity do the work. Use a pizza grill, not a pizza peel. That way you don't deform your pizza or throw it all over the oven. And make sure you watch that pizza oven hack video on my brother channel. Make sure you master a cheese pizza first before you go getting all crazy with all different kinds of ingredients. And use the right amount of ingredients. We want 250 grams for a 12-inch pie, 161 grams of sauce, and 128 grams of cheese. Start off with that ratio and kind of experiment around. This is an art and a science. Don't open your oven door when that pizza's cooking. You don't want to lose any of that heat. It takes about an hour to build up a good amount of heat. Cut it with a knife after the cheese sets up, not one of those little wheelers, so we don't rip off all your toppings. And serve in a pizza box. Well, I hope you guys have enjoyed this series so far. If it's your first time here, make sure you like and subscribe. Share with a friend. Stay tuned for some other videos to build on your pizza knowledge you've gained here and make some really cool pies. Thanks again for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Comment, subscribe.